Deborah Cruz. I'm not the program director. I'm the program manager. We don't have a program director. But anyways, we wanted to talk about what we do, and we're advocates for immigrants in detention, and what is happening, due to COVID-19. Betty, do you want to talk about yourself for a minute, or?
I am a Tacoma Dominican associate, and I got involved with Aid Northwest because several of our sisters and associates have been working with this group for many years, and it's how I got involved with it.
I was also recruited by the Dominican Associates when the job came available. So Betty and I did not know each other before this, but we are connected in that way. Betty is also part of the Speakers Bureau. She writes our newsletter, and she works at the Welcome Center. So we really appreciate all of her help. Okay, and here is Aid Northwest's mission. We provide emotional support to immigrants in detention, and when they are released, we warmly welcome them and provide traditional support. We connect released immigrants to vital resources so that they know that they are valued and safe and are on the path to live independent lives. Aid Northwest helps immigrants who are released from the detention center to get back on their feet. So that's back to slide 2. But slide 3, Aid Northwest history. I can't see the whole screen. Can you open it all the way up? Okay, there we go. Okay, so we were established in 2005 to serve immigrants released from detention. We have a $142,000 annual budget and one full-time person, which is me, and then we have actually one part-time paid employee who is our host coordinator at our hospitality house. And we also now have an intern who works part-time. We have a 9-person volunteer board and 200 active volunteers from the Puget Sound region. And this is just a picture of a group of people that were released and an attorney and some volunteers, kind of, celebrating that these people had gotten out. Number 4. Okay, so here is the ugly picture of the Northwest Processing Center. It was also known as Northwest Detention Center, and it's at the Tacoma Tide Flats. Currently, there's 1,575 beds. It has a capacity for the 1,575 beds. The building is contracted by ICE and run by a private company, which is called GEO. This is hard doing it apart from each other. If we were together, it'd be a lot smoother. Sorry about that. So without Aid Northwest's involvement and assistance, many asylees and immigrants would be without shelter. They would be homeless, and no way to contact family and friends. Their introduction to life in America would be heartless, and like I said, could become homeless. As controversial as it is, there will always be detention centers, we believe. Tacoma is a good place for us to be located because of the assistance we provide and access to legal assistance in Tacoma. This picture is of a family that, well, actually the husband was detained for a couple of years. and his wife, and you can see he has 4 children there. His wife didn't work. So during the time that he was detained, obviously she struggled financially. And then when he was released, it was just around Christmas time. So we got a group of volunteers together and collected a bunch of presents, wrapped them up, and then he had to come and visit his attorney. So he was able to take back, I think it was like 6 boxes full of presents for him and his family for Christmas time. So that's just one of the things that we do for families and, you know, once they're released. Number 6. Okay, so our core services here, and you can see some of these core services are in red. Our hospitality house, we have a hospitality house that normally serves people as they are released. As you can see, all of these people that are in this picture down here, except for a couple of people that are volunteers, we're staying at our hospitality house. And this is a family dinner that we have. We tried to have, well, we did have. We get together with the residents. Post-detention accompaniment network, and they normally come to the house, pick up people, take them to appointments and things like that. Right now, they are still operating, just picking up people from the Welcome Center and taking them to the airport or to a hotel or, you know, anywhere else that they need to go. If they have family around the area, we'll take them there too. Our visitation and visitation program is on hold right now, except they are writing letters to the detainees that they were visiting, and we get requests from attorneys and other organizations asking us to write to them as well. They also, visitation also sends in yarn and books and things like that. When people request them, they have to go through quite a process to be able to get those things, but we get them in there. And then our Welcome Center, that's another program that we had to change a lot of the procedures there, because we have an RV that's outside the detention center, and right now we cannot operate inside the RV because of COVID-19. So Betty will be talking a little bit more about what we're doing now. So we've had to struggle quite a bit to change that to make it so that everyone is safe. And then we do a lot of referrals to community partners. We partner with World Relief and NIRP, Northwest Immigrants Rights Project, among a lot of other community partners. So part of my job is to, I receive numerous emails daily, and then I'm referring people out to other people. Okay, so no questions right now. I'll go forward and let Betty go on. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah.
So as Deborah mentioned, we've made a lot of changes in some of our programs because of the COVID. And these pictures here represent, there's our Welcome Center in that middle picture. And that's where we used to do all of the helping and the work. We have telephones that people can call their families and set up set up ideas and plans to get themselves back to where they came from to go home again. We keep clothes in there. Many of the people come out in the clothes they were picked up in, which is mostly inappropriate to this kind of weather here. So many people generously support us by giving us clothes and cards to go buy clothes for people. So we have clothes in there. We have snacks. People give us snacks and water and drinks. And all of that had to come outside when the COVID virus started. It all had to come outside because we couldn't be in close proximity like that. So the other two pictures show that there have been several people who have made us masks. So our guests, are the people who come out of the detention center, and ourselves can all have masks and gloves to wear while we're there at the detention center working. And you see there in the top picture, there's a volunteer with his mask and gloves on, and we have set up tents outside, and we keep social distancing. We had to set up a second tent because of the rain to make sure the social distancing stayed in effect, to keep people apart. As soon as people come out, we give them the masks, the gloves, ask them to wear these things. We have, in about 5 or 6 different languages, we have papers that we show people to say, this is what we're doing for your safety, so people understand why they're being asked to put on a mask or put on gloves. Those are very helpful. So we're working outdoors. And as Deborah mentioned, the hospitality house is closed right now. So what happens when we need to take someone? A lot of people, and especially with the airlines now too, the airlines aren't flying on any regular basis, and so it's hard to get people flights out. So families have a hard time getting a flight. It used to be when before COVID, most people could get on a flight the night they came out, and they could be home to their families by the next morning. But that doesn't happen so much anymore. And at the hospitality house, we helped people who really had terrible difficulty trying to get flights. Many of these families, they don't have credit cards. They don't have $400 they can just go and buy a ticket with right now. So the hospitality house was there so the guests could stay a few days while the family collected enough money to buy a ticket to get the person home. So that's not happening now. And now we have our PDAN volunteers, as Deborah mentioned, who come to the Welcome Center with us and help us either get the people to the airport because they did get a flight out for the night or for early the next morning, or we have a little arrangement with a hotel up there, and so we take them to that hotel for the night. So it's all sort of topsy-turvy in terms of it always has been, but it really is sort of as fly by the seat of your pants to keep the program going in terms of the need that is out there and in terms of the people who the things the people need from us now, and our response to that has been in some ways sort of limited. So we ask people to share your time with us, and as you can see, those in the red there are things that we really can't do right now. But if you would like to be connected with someone who is in the detention center and would like some companionship in some way, now we're writing letters to the people inside. So that is something that can still be done. It's a variation on the visitation, but at least there's some human connection going on. You could become a Welcome Center volunteer. you have to be careful right now for people who have, you know, compromised immune systems and older people. You want to be careful because there is a bit of a risk there, but you know, if you would like to do that, we have people who can do that, help you do that. And we're not having the office open right now, so we don't do office support right now. You could become a PDAN volunteer, which is post-detention. That PDAN stands for post-detention, to help people get to at this point, the airport and the hotel, or if they have people close in this area who can't come to get them. And again, helping maintain the hospitality house is something we're not doing right now either because of what's happening with the virus. We asked people to share their talents with us. Just the other night, a young man from China came out and spoke. I think he knew how to say thank you in English. And so I got on the phone and a wonderful woman translated for us. It's very, very important that people understand the things we're asking them, why we're asking them, what we're trying to do to help them. And in the very beginning, it's not that way anymore, but in the very beginning, people were mistrustful of us because they had no idea. They thought we were part of ICE again, and they'd already come out of detention. They didn't want to go back into something. But now the word is out, and people come to us very, very willingly and are so grateful to have people there to welcome them and help them out with their travel plans or give them snacks and drinks and clothing if they need. We also need help fundraising. This is, except for the few people who are getting a salary, this is really a volunteer organization, and almost nothing gets done without the volunteers who take their time to do work for us. We have a marketing communications group. If anyone has any kinds of expertise in that area, would like to help us with that. We also have a website, and we could certainly use people who know about graphic design and websites and that. And of course, we could always use tech support. Here is a little information about how to contact us. You could send donations to us, or you can donate online. We do have a website, aidnorthwest.org/donate, gets you right to the donate part. You can email us at officevolunteer@aidnorthwest.org or directly to Deborah at dcruz@aidnorthwest.org. We are part of the Give Big thing that's happening next Tuesday and Wednesday. It's a 24-hour thing where many organizations in the local area have gotten together and they're making one big ask, so to speak. And so we are part of that for next Tuesday and Wednesday, and you'll see this kind of pictures and things all over probably people's web pages and Facebook pages and things like that, as many groups are part of this Give Big thing. And you can go to the Give Big and then type in Aid Northwest, and our little site will come up and you can donate to us. So it's a way to sort of give some kind of attention to smaller organizations like ours who might not get all the marketing and attention that would come from something like this Give Big idea. Does anybody have any questions for Deborah or I? And thank you so much for your support. Deborah, did you have something else you wanted to add, or?
I have a question.
Yes.
Yes. to both of you, perhaps, but well, thank you, first of all, for presenting that wonderful way of all the different options people have to get it. I have a specific question in terms of if people wanted to donate something, what particular things, supplies, that kind of thing, do you need, does your organization, agency need in particular, more than other things?
On our website, we have a list of things that we need most at this point. Another trial and tribulation because of the COVID. We are not accepting clothing donations, and the only donations we are accepting, if you want to, if you have I forgot what it's called, but you can be a special person with Amazon, and then you get some points or something, and you give us stuff through Amazon. We accept that, but we can't accept clothing or any of that sort of donation right at this point because of the COVID thing. Deborah, did you want to add on that?
So yeah, our Amazon wish list has a listing of everything that we need. And you can find that on www.aidnorthwest.org. And so, yeah, that's been helping a lot. It's we put a shout out. We were running out of gloves. We were running out of hats. And 2 days later, I had boxes of things at the door. It's just amazing what people have, you know, done for us and for the immigrants to be able to help them. One of the things that we strongly feel is that we want to give them dignity. So when they are released, we want to give them clothing that they can feel good in, a backpack to put their things in so that they're not carrying around things in a plastic bag. That way they fit into society and are not singled out at the airport. We have a wonderful group of volunteers that go to a place in Seattle that gives us brand new coats, and so that's been a great, you know, thing to be able to hand someone a coat that is, and it's a good brand. I don't know if I should mention it here, but so we've been really lucky to get those, and with people that make masks. So if anybody, you know, wants to make masks, they can do that, and then just mail them directly to the hospitality house. And you know, Betty mentioned a lot of other things that people can be doing, and you know, so if you are interested in volunteering, you can always fill out an application online. And just put on the top of the application, there's some boxes that you can check, just saying what you're interested in. I personally read all of the volunteer applications, and sometimes I'll suggest something else just by what you say that your interests are, or, you know, there's a section that says, tell me about yourself. You know, maybe we're looking for a new board member, or committee member, or something like that. If I notice that in there, I'll probably ask you, are you interested in this instead of what you initially, you know, talked about? So, yeah, so if you're interested, just, you know, go online and fill out an application, and we'll take a look at it.
That's great. Thank you both for the outlining those specific things too. And it's very heartwarming to hear that they had such a great response when you publicize the need.
Mm-hmm.
We have many. Deborah mentioned our groups that we work with. There are many faith groups throughout the entire region who get together and hold fundraisers for us, do clothing drives for us when we can accept clothing. It's very, very, very heartening to know that this community has our backs when it comes to helping us help these people get on with their lives and reconnect with where they belong and with their families.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it is. Yes. Well, if there's no more questions and we have a minute or so, if somebody does need to give a question, I want to give a question, you can write in there. But
I see a question.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I see one from Patty Lyman.
Oh, yes.
Where are people going if they were released and have no place to go? So Betty mentioned hotel, you know, if we take them to a hotel, if they're looking to like fly out the next day. And we do have a couple of host families through World Relief that will help out. We've also come in contact with some shelters that will take people in. And so, you know, and it's just a matter of, like I said before, talking to our partners, asking for help. I've never, in the time I've been with Aid Northwest for 2.5 years, we've never put anybody on the street. So that's another thing that we're really fortunate of is, you know, everyone coming together to help take care of them when we can't.
Thank you. We have one other question. Let's see. Deborah said something like there will probably always be a need for a detention center and Tacoma has a good location, question mark. Does this mean we should stop agitating to close the detention center?
You know, I'm not going to say that people should stop if they feel like they should stop, you know, the detention center from being there. All I'm saying is that with the access to legal and other sources in Tacoma, it is better for them to be there than to be put in Georgia, which is in the middle of nowhere, about 30 miles, I think, from town. They're obviously not going to get as much legal help or, you know, assistance with clothing, all those things when they are released.
Mm-hmm. Okay, excellent. Thank you both very much. We're going to take a 5-minute break now, and we're going to, let me see, maybe a little longer, let's see, no, 5 minutes, and then we'll be back at 10:30 for the next workshop.